Hello, everyone, and welcome to Game Changers, Lenovo and AMD on performance, portability, and AI. We will get started in about 10 minutes, so grab a drink, grab a bite to eat, and find a spot to enjoy the show. May I have your attention, please? The event will begin in 5 minutes. Thank you. Hello, and thank you again for coming. At this time, please welcome to the stage Emily Ketchen.
All right. Ooh, that is on. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Game Changers, Lenovo and AMD on performance, portability, and AI. I hope you all had a chance to put a drink into your hands and you're ready for an amazing conversation. My name is Emily Ketchen. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer for IDG and ISO here at Lenovo, and pleased to welcome you this afternoon. At Lenovo, our vision is to deliver smarter technology for all, and AMD is a key partner in making that real. from enterprise systems to the devices that our gamers trust, top to bottom. Now, we all know that PC gaming is evolving really, really quickly. Players want more power, more freedom. Today's laptops and handhelds deliver performance that once required full towers. It's extraordinary to think how much more portable these incredible devices have become. We're entering an era where I would say that AI is quietly boosting our gameplay. What this means is much faster responsiveness, better visuals, smarter optimization, powered by AMD Ryzen AI processors on Lenovo Legion devices. You're going to hear much more about that. Without too much further ado, from Lenovo's Volker Düring and AMD's Jason Banta. And we're also super excited to hear directly from legendary game developer Dave Brevik on how tech is reshaping design and player expectations. Quite the lineup. Moderating today's conversation is Avalee May, a very familiar voice across esports and gaming culture. You will recognize her work from covering League of Legends on G4 TV. Thank you again so much for being here with us this afternoon. Take a deep breath. Avalee, over to you. There she is.
To run over here to grab my mic. Hello, everyone. Everyone having a great day? Great CES so far? Awesome, awesome. My name is Avalee. I am a huge gamer and a massive nerd at heart, and I'm incredibly excited to be joining you all today. But first off, thank you so much, Emily, for that incredibly warm introduction, and thank you all for joining us here at CES 2026 and online for a conversation on the future of performance, portability, and intelligent computing in gaming. Now, today is about precision. It's about hardware that actually fits your life. Whether you're coding till 4 a.m. or just trying to rank up in Valorant from your dorm desk. Now, we are looking at the new Legion 7A and 5A running on AMD's Ryzen AI 400 series processors, and the Legion Go powered by the AMD Ryzen Z2 Extreme. We're fortunate to be joined by an exceptional group of leaders shaping where the industry is headed. So, without further ado, please help me welcome them all up. Starting with Volker Düring, the Vice President and General Manager of Gaming and Medion PC Business.
Hello, everyone.
We have Jason Banta, the Corporate Vice President for Client OEM Business at AMD. And of course, David Brevik, the American video game designer and co-founder and president of Blizzard North. All right, well, let's just get things started. And Volker, let's begin with you. Now, usually tech brands just scream thin and light and hope for the best, right? But the Legion 7A and Legion 5A fit very clearly into the Legion product stack alongside the Legion Pro series of dedicated frame-spewing gaming machines as laptops that offer a serious gamer's pedigree of hardware that is still portable and efficient enough for hours away from the outlet. So can you break down that logic there? Why split up the party?
Well, splitting up, basically based on, short answer is very based on the feedback from our gaming community. So if you look at an industry that were producing gaming notebooks focused on performance, power. And what we did actually, we asked our gaming community and the gamers, our install base, we asked them, how actually do those units serve you when you enter university or when you go into the workforce? And we got very, very good and detailed feedback. And for example, for STEM students, they were super excited about the gaming performance that they get out of the gaming machine because it supports them exceptionally in those STEM classes and also in the workforce, engineers, techie roles. They really benefit a lot from the performance. But the downside is really when it comes to portability and to battery life. And this is why we designed the Legion 7A. So the Legion 7A is really a thin platform with exceptional performance, a high level of portability. Looking then more into the non-STEM students, what we realized is actually they might not need this performance in their courses, in their study work, but they actually make a lot of new friends at university and start a lot of new behaviors and new hobbies. So they start editing, they start streaming, eventually even coding. And this is why we designed the Legion 5A, because this is actually a super compact platform. They still need to go through the day with their system at university. And so we designed the Legion 5A, which is actually coming with a super compact 15.3-inch OLED screen that has just an incredible screen.
Wow, that's incredible. And I really enjoy the fact that you have all of these specific examples from the STEM students to the non-STEM students on how they're using some of these products. Now, was there a real student that you had in mind, like one of those types of scenarios when you were looking at some of these products, or some of the development and how they shaped these devices together?
I mean, what really surprised us most was actually how fluid the day of those students is. I mean, those students today, they code in the morning, they game in the afternoon, they edit in the evening, watch movies, or even stream. And they do this actually at very different places. So they use their machine in university, they use it at home, in the dorm, in cafes. And this is why we designed those units. I mean, we really wanted to build units that address this lifestyle, the lifestyle of these students, and this is why we basically came up with a Legion 7A and a Legion 5A.
Thank you very much, Volker. And honestly, it makes a ton of sense, and it's promising to hear that customer feedback is a true part of the process. So, Jason, let's talk about the brain of the operation, the AMD Ryzen AI 400 series processors. So, we hear a lot of buzzwords about chips and the tech powering new gaming devices. But for the people who just want their laptop to work, what makes AMD Ryzen AI 400 series special for these thin gaming laptops?
Thank you, Avi, and thank you to the Lenovo team for inviting us to the Game Changers event. It's very exciting to be here with all this great media and great tech press here. So thank you to Lenovo for inviting us, and thank you for the partnership in the Legion lineup of products. Very exciting lineup. Ryzen AI 400, which we're bringing to market this week at CES and doing that in partnership with great OEMs like Lenovo, is a product that really does what the PC does best. And the PC is great at really doing everything. It is the do-it-all device. To have a great AI PC, you really have to have a great PC first. And so that means great productivity performance. That means great multi-thread performance. That means great gaming performance. There are so many things you do with a PC, which is why it is a unique device in people's lives. You know, the phone can do certain things, tablet can do certain things, but the PC is very unique in that multifaceted approach. And that's how we designed the Ryzen AI 400. It's great at portability, battery life, it's great at max performance, gaming performance. If you're doing a lot of things, you got a lot of tabs open. If you're doing STEM work, I think that's a great example where STEM workloads, very intense, very extreme. I actually gifted we have a STEM member of the family that I gifted him a Legion notebook, so that's a good sale for you. And it's a great platform for STEM education, doing that type of work, productivity work. It does all of those things, and it does it in a well-balanced manner. And so if you want extreme gaming, it's a great platform for that, awesome performance in the latest games, but also that do-it-all aspect, being able to do everything. That's how we designed Ryzen AI 400. And again, we did that in great partnership with our friends at Lenovo.
Now, you mentioned again a little bit about the convergence between gaming and STEM and creation. So from AMD's perspective, how intentional is that shift, and how does it change how you design platforms like Ryzen AI 400?
So we do a lot of research and get a lot of feedback from end users, end customers, gamers. And what we found is, and this was actually a bit of news to us when we started seeing how people use their PCs. And these are gaming branded PCs like the Legion lineup. And when we tested those PCs, when we interacted with those customers, we found out on a percentage basis, they don't just game. Gaming is a percentage of what they do, but they do coding. They have Spotify going. They have 12 tabs open. They're researching. They're doing productivity work. They're doing a million things on those devices, and that is real research we got not just from everyday users, but real gamers, people that game quite often. They game a lot, but they do other things too. And so that convergence on this type of device is very, very important to us. And so when we qualify our systems, when we do our development, when we do our architectural development, it is about making sure we can handle all of those different use cases, because we're seeing this convergence happen on devices like this, and it's based on real data from real gamers on how they really use these devices.
Yeah, I mean, I can even personally speak to that. If I'm playing a game, I'm also recording myself playing the game. I have music going on in the background, and then I have to edit it at the end of the day. So many.
Never less than 14 tabs open. Anytime I'm gaming, it's always going on.
Exactly. Now, but what about AI? How does AI play a role in your development process?
So AI in gaming is something we want it to be. We want it to augment the experience. We don't want it to replace the experience or anything like that. We want it to augment the experience, and we also want it to be optional. It needs to be augmentated, but it also needs to be optional in how it's used, because we don't want it to take away anything from the gaming experience, really. And so there's a few ways that we use AI at an architectural level, and again in partnership with with our OEM partners like Lenovo. We use it in ways that, first of all, enhance the system. And a lot of that's below the surface in how it enhances battery life, in how it enhances system responsiveness, and a lot of things you don't see how it's doing it, but it's doing it in the background, just making that system more responsive, really just making it a better PC. You wanted a faster PC, you wanted a longer battery life. AI does things to deliver that. We're also using AI in some ways at the driver level, at the firmware level, launch like FSR4 Redstone, where we're using AI ML techniques to enhance the gaming experience, making it more visually pleasing. So you've got frame generation, you've got ray tracing regeneration, you've got the lighting, illuminance caching, you've got all these capabilities that make that game better looking, make it faster, make it more responsive, and we build those things into the driver, and that's using AI in the graphics engine, in our software stack, in our driver stack. And so we want AI to make the game better. We don't want it to replace anything. And we've found good ways to do that, and we're getting great feedback from gamers who have tried it out and just see a better overall gaming experience.
Fantastic, thank you. Now, David, I want to ask you this question because we've talked a lot about where AI helps, but where do you think AI doesn't belong yet when it comes to gaming?
First off, thanks. And secondly, definitely that computer sounds a lot like me. I definitely I'm coding and streaming something and doing all of it at the same time. So this might be exactly the computer I'm looking for. So AI, where it doesn't belong, in my opinion, is when it does stuff that takes control away from either the player or from the developer. If something takes away from that control, that's where I think AI runs into problems. I want predictability when I'm playing. I don't want it to take control from me. I want it to enhance my experience, but not allow me to make the decisions or whatever. And so that's really important. And then as a developer, it's important to AI can help in iteration and ideation and things like that, but make the author the human. That's where the AI, I think, really kind of goes wrong. And so it's important, as long as those kind of criteria are met, then I think that I'm all for AI enhancements and experiences.
Fantastic. Thank you for the both of you. That's also a very helpful line in the sand, I think, when it comes to AI and gaming. But now, turning the page a bit over to you specifically, David, your beloved Diablo launched in 1996, nearly 30 years ago.
Yes.
I just heard my back creak a little bit there. Oh my gosh. Now, you've seen the industry go from giant CRTs to literally playing AAA games on the plane. So now that we have these specialized beasts like the AMD Ryzen AI 400 series powered laptops and the Z2 Extreme handhelds, does that change how developers build games? And do you feel more confident optimizing for portable play knowing the hardware can actually handle it now?
Yeah, it changes everything. You know, when we first, I mean, this is really dating me, but when we were first making games, there were only a few machines that you could actually run the kind of games that we were making. There was such a limited amount of PCs that had the power to do that kind of stuff. And a lot of times it came in a giant case with a 300-pound monitor. And so times have really changed. And now you can get that kind of performance out of so many different devices. It's really exciting. And as a developer, you want to put your game on as many systems as possible. And you may need to do a little bit of optimization for some particular devices, but it makes it worth it. You feel like I can really spend the time to make sure that this is optimized and can get a great experience across many devices and allow for a larger audience. It makes you think a little bit about your design as well, but I think that we're in an era where now that allows more people more access to these games, and it's just very exciting.
Now, when we're talking about some of those designs, when developers are designing for both handhelds and high-end PCs, are there trade-offs that they have to be a little bit more conscious of now compared to the past?
Yeah, I think that in general that happens all the time anyway. All platforms have advantages and disadvantages. And so, I mean, you can have a system that's set up where, oh, I've got this giant area where I've got this massive computer. That's not very portable. I can't take that on the plane. Yet I still want to play my game, whatever it is. I can take it with me. We're in this new era where you can do these kind of things. You can move from device to device. You can play on one thing and play it on another and have different experiences. And it really makes you think as a designer, how am I going to enhance my design so that it's playable on all these different platforms and allows people to have an experience that they can that can deliver a great experience, what I intend as a developer across all of these different devices.
Thank you so much for the insight, David. Now, it's always fascinating to hear the game dev POV on how hardware innovations translate to real-world game design implications. Now, switching gears to the Legion Go. You're rocking the AMD Ryzen Z2 Extreme in this thing, and it now comes in two flavors, Windows or Steam OS. So, Volker, question for you. What makes the Ryzen Z2 Extreme so special to Legion, and what excites you about this different version of the Legion Go? How does this specific chip help us get that console-level feel in a handheld without, melting our hands?
So Legion Go is a very, very special product to us. I think for the gaming community, for me specifically personal as well, I mean, it was great to see this developed over the last years. And when we launched the Legion Go 2 at IFA last year in 2025 with Windows 11, I mean, the objective was really to bring the most powerful gaming handheld to our portfolio, if not to our industry. And what was just mentioned, right, to bring really actually AAA gaming available on a mobile device. And now we are actually enhancing the experience on this platform with the full screen experience from our friends from Xbox. And launching now or announcing now the Legion Go OS, the Legion Go 2 with Steam OS is actually for us really the desire to give our gaming community a full choice of operating systems. We think there are benefits to both of them. I mean, Steam has incredible reactive game access, library, everything is absolutely incredible. So we really want to give the gamers the choice. And yeah, now we have also the most powerful Steam OS gaming handheld in the market. And coming back to your question why we choose actually the AMD Ryzen Z2 Extreme processor is simply because it has just incredible, amazing performance at a very, very improved battery life.
Man, I need to get my hands on one of those like now, especially for the plane ride home. But Jason, I would love to hear your perspective as well.
Yeah, so first of all, Volker, thank you for the endorsement. It's the Ryzen Z2 Extreme, the collaboration on that was phenomenal. Just the level of optimization and work we did to make that a great product. And what we do in the handheld, it's a bit different than what we do in the PC, where we're optimizing a little bit differently for performance, longevity, and keeping, like you said, keeping that system cool in the hands when you're gaming. So we optimize for all of those things, and we do that across multiple partners, and we actually had to have multiple multi-party engagements between AMD, Lenovo, Microsoft, AMD, Lenovo, Valve, and we were able to work together and really design something that's great for gamers. And we know that both Xbox as well as Valve, they really care about the gaming community and how to make that experience great. So at an architectural level, what we did with the Ryzen Z2 Extreme, leveraging such interesting IP as the Zen Core and RDNA GPUs, just bringing that together in a handheld form factor, and then optimizing at a system level to truly make it great. It was a lot of work. It was a lot of fun, and I think the result of this high performance handheld product and these new form factor capabilities, detachable controllers, all these cool things we're doing with it. It just comes from a lot of partnership and innovation, collaboration, making those things happen.
I definitely remember playing around with some of the first ever handheld devices, right? And you just feel the heat coming off of them. You have to, if you're on a road trip, you hold it out the car window and hope that maybe that cools it down, or you pull out the ice pack from your lunchbox and maybe hope proximity will give you a little bit longer game time. But because these handhelds are so intense thermally, what was the design priority with the Z2 Extreme? Was it raw peak FPS or sustained performance on battery?
Yeah, it really is a balance. I know that sounds kind of cheesy, but it is a balance. And when we did the Z1, the Z1 Extreme, we got a lot of great feedback from the community. We launched the initial wave of handhelds. We partnered together on the first generation of Legion Go, and things that people didn't like about the thermal experience or didn't like about the average FPS or what they were seeing as far as battery life. We got a ton of feedback from the larger gaming community, and that's what's great about the gaming community. You launch a product, you get a very fast response. You get very good data on what to do next. And so what's cool about that is we can put that back into our optimizations. And really what we do, if you look at our Ryzen AI 400 we talked about earlier, that maxes out at 12 cores. It's able to handle more multitasking. It's great for that. But we put a different balance into a product like Z2E where it's optimized at 8 cores, but we focused a little bit more on the graphics and then balanced that out to make sure the efficiency was there. And every bit of our IP is optimized for power efficiency to make sure you get long battery life, to make sure it can handle those thermals that you can only see in a handheld device. So there's again a lot that goes into that, and ultimately having that device that's really balanced is what gamers prefer. And it's not just about having raw max performance, again maxing out that FPS. It's really is like as you're playing it, does it drop out? Does it slow down? Is it does it kind of does it visually offend you when the game slows down? We want to avoid all of that, and that's between our architecture, partnership at a system level, and game developers working together to make that experience consistent, make that experience reliable, and get that longevity in it as well.
Absolutely. Consistency is key. Now, let's just zoom out for a little bit. So I would actually like to ask Jason and Voker this. So we've got the AMD Ryzen AI 400 series for the laptops and Z2 Extreme for the handhelds. So break it down for me. Are these chips distant cousins or siblings? If I'm deep in the AMD ecosystem, does the efficiency tech from the laptop chip bleed over into the handheld? And how connected are they really? And Jason, I'd love to start with you here first.
So architecturally, these are very, very close cousins. The Ryzen AI 400 and the Z2 Extreme product. So very, very close cousins in that regard. The same Zen core architecture, the same RDNA architecture, the same family that IP comes from. So we share a lot of that. The big difference is we optimize them a little bit differently for those different form factors, and that could be driver, that could be firmware, that could be software, that could be decisions we choose and core counts, things like that. Classic cores, dense cores, all these options we have to better optimize for one form factor or the other. And so while we have great IP and it does bleed over, a lot of the efficiency we put into the laptop bleeds over into the handheld as well, but we optimize just a little bit differently based on which form factor we're targeting. And in this case, we have both great products with Lenovo, the Legion 7 and the Legion Go. So we optimize those differently together.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jason is actually perfectly right on this one. What we want to do is really to make sure or to untether actually the gamers from the power plug at the wall, really make sure they get the very best experience when they game actually on battery, wherever they game. Is it on the couch? Is it on when they commute, when they're on a train? Because I truly think, or we truly think that AAA gaming away from the desk is something gamers want. It's an experience. They want to play their favorite games whenever and wherever they actually can. And our whole design philosophy or our whole development philosophy is actually targeting to achieve that, really, to give the best experience on the different platforms for the lifestyle and for what the gamers want.
Absolutely. And Jason, to come back to you for a moment, because you mentioned some shared philosophies and learnings, how important is that co-design process between AMD and Lenovo in actually delivering those experiences?
It's absolutely vital. We do a lot of work in our labs when we come out with a new processor. We have reference designs. We test out things, but it is a big step when we put it into a system. It is a big step when we optimize into that form factor. And we do that, and we get a lot of feedback between our teams as we optimize that. And then also the software experiences that Lenovo brings onto the Legion platform, because it's not just hardware. There are software experiences that come with all of the Legion lineup of products. So we look at those together, and as we do that, a ton of co-optimization, a ton of iteration. We do, I don't know, three, four major iterations of the product, complete redesigns as we're bringing it to market. And that's to make sure we get it right, and each version makes the next version better. And so it gives a lot of confidence when we bring a product like this to market, that when you take it out of the box, you're going to get something really great. You're going to get something that's been vetted, it's been optimized, and so that comes from a lot of partnership.
Does that ring true for you as well, Volker?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in the end, the partnership is super fundamental, the collaboration that we have with AMD. We really want to make the product better and better and better, and this is really our target and objective for every aspect of the system. So there's a great collaboration with AMD on the processor side, but when you look then into a wider spectrum, we of course look into the form factor, we look into our cooling, we look into the overall design thickness. So we really try to optimize our designs for those different requirements, for those different lifestyles and experiences that gamer want. And they have different requirements during the day, and this is really what we try to address for the different systems, for the different products, to develop the right experience for the specific use.
Fantastic. And David, this question is for you. Have you seen players actually change how they play because these types of devices exist? Shorter sessions, more mobility, or different habits?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's going to change even more as they become more prevalent. I think that I see people playing AAA games on a plane. That just that didn't happen before. So it's just great that people are playing these experiences all over the place. They can take things with them when they travel or wherever they're going, and I think that we just all really enjoy that. It does make the designers kind of think about things differently, because the sessions are a little bit different when you're dealing with a handheld than they are with a more set-up experience. And there can be shorter sessions. They can get interrupted. They can, whatever the situation may be. So you got to design an experience that can be great for 10 minutes, or it can be great for a few hours. And so that it just depends on how they end up using it. And so it makes you think about, how am I going to hand out the rewards and things like that? When can that happen, to make sure that every session from a gameplay standpoint is a great experience, not just for the system itself. The performance and all of that will definitely matter, but also game design, it will matter. Make sure that people feel like they had a good session.
Well, here's an interesting follow-up question. Do you think that players are more sensitive now to things like latency, frame pacing, or input feel because they're playing across more devices?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that it's funny because I have a lot of kids, but one of my daughters is a hardcore FPS player, and she notices just the littlest frame drops or whatever on whatever device she's playing. And it used to not be that way. When I was, younger and even growing up, I could always kind of notice these things, but it didn't seem to matter to gamers that much. But I think that as we've kind of grown more sophisticated and the devices become better and better, people start to notice this, even if they can't really articulate it very well. They will definitely notice that, hey, the experience isn't as good on this or that. And so it's up to us as designers to ensure that we can create a great experience across all of these different devices. The devices are plenty powerful enough that you can deliver your vision without having to compromise anything.
I can't wait to see how high she climbs in whatever ladders of the games that she's playing.
It's amazing. It's way beyond my skills.
It's always bad when your kids get better than you in gaming. There's that moment where you realize and you're like, oh, I'm cooked. I'm cooked.
Yeah, well, that ship sailed long ago. I was never very good at games, and now I'm really, really bad.
Here's maybe my question for the audience. Show of hands. How many people refuse to let their children, or the family children, win out of principle? There we go. There we go. Yeah, my little cousin will not beat me in Mario Kart until he has earned it. But all right. So, Evoker and Jason, Evoker, I'm going to come to you first. What are your thoughts from the hardware side of the equation?
Yeah, well, the scenario that Dave was just explaining, I mean, we need to do everything we can to support it actually from a hardware perspective. So those sessions where you sit and do those long sessions play only at the desk, they are over. I mean, in the end, the gamers, they seamlessly switch over to a mobile device. And we need to do, of course, everything we can from our side to support this in the best way. So we put a lot of focus, a lot of research into areas like thermals, form factor, connectivity. How can we enable actually from a hardware perspective with the whole full setup, this requirement actually to walk away from your desk, to seamlessly switch over to your mobile device, and in the end, give this experience. Because the final objective is actually not to tell the gamers what they should play. We want to make sure they can really play whenever and wherever the game they want to play. So if it's a AAA game, they should be able to do this anywhere, anyway, anywhere at any time.
Jason, how about you?
And I so totally agree with both Dave and Volker. The key thing is that we look at is great integration. We look at great integration, great continuity of experience, and I don't get to game a ton, but I get to game over the holidays, and I got to play quite a bit between the PC and a handheld, and I was very impressed as a real-time RPG game, and how similar that response rate was when you would migrate from the PC to the handheld. And that experience, just being in the game, you're in the PC game, you have that reaction, you have that, that responsiveness, and then you migrate to the handheld, and to see that it's so similar, such that you can continue to compete, you can continue to play that game the right way. That's a lot of fun to see that, and it doesn't take you out of the game. It allows you that continuity of experience, and so being able to switch smoothly like that is something we look at from a hardware perspective. We make sure you can do that. And again, it's back to that consistency of how you deliver that gaming experience, how you deliver the frames, how you deliver that responsiveness. That's what we optimize for, such that it's smooth as you move across devices and across platforms.
Now, we chatted a little bit about this earlier, but let's address the elephant in the room, as there's always this fear that thin and light equals loud and hot. when it comes to some of these devices. So Volker, with this new gen, whether it's the Legion 7A or the Legion Go, have we finally fixed the acoustics? Can I actually game in the library without sounding like I am launching a jet engine? I've gotten in trouble.
Well, we definitely don't launch a jet engine in a library. It's clear there's a challenge when you design thin and light products to really optimize heat and acoustics and performance and battery life. And what we do is really, and this is what many people actually do not see when you launch one generation after the next, or one generation after the other, actually how much work we put into research and innovation in those interior parts. So if you look at our thermal system, our cold front thermal system, I mean, we make improvements, significant improvement, generations on generations. We implement, and I think this is very unique to us, Legion and Lenovo units. We have a dedicated AI Plus chip. So this is really a chip, and we have the new generation in our new platform that is really allocating the power between GPU and CPU in a very dynamic way based on the specific requirements of the game. And all of this is actually driving huge benefits. So if you look at our 2026 lineup, and this is a statement actually for all platform, but also for the Legion 7A and 5A, you see actually really much thinner design with a better performance, with a lower skin temperature, and actually with much better acoustics.
Fantastic. Now, Jason, from the silicon side, what helps make thin and quiet more realistic now?
So a ton of advancement, and a lot of the advancement that we do goes into both what you see with the Legion 7, Legion 7A, Legion 5A, as well as the Legion Go. There's a number of things we're doing both at an architectural level, but also at a silicon level. So silicon level, we're consistently advancing the process. So taking those features down in size, miniaturization of that technology, such that we can get more capability, more architecture into that area and keep it at a lower power. So there's ongoing silicon engineering we're doing there, but also architecturally, and Volker talked about trading off power between the CPU and GPU, how many cores you leave active at a specific point in time, how many GPU compute units you keep active at a specific point in time. We make those tweaks and we advance that architecture generationally such that every time you're getting both more performance and greater efficiency. We want to progress both of those up and to the right with each generation of silicon product and each generation of platform. We want them both to advance at the same time. We don't want that to be a trade-off. In a generation, there's always a little bit of a trade-off in optimization we do, but we want to bring both forward at the exact same time.
Thank you so much for that. Now, we've actually covered a lot of ground today with our discussion. So before we wrap up, let's go ahead and look ahead. So, David, what does the Legion Go and gaming handheld category mean to you as someone who's seen several eras of game design? What is the next game that you're looking forward to playing on Legion Go, powered by SteamOS?
Wow, that's a great question. I play a lot of games. One of my jobs is I own a publisher, so I play just tons of games. And I don't know if there's one specific that I want to play the most, but this is a device that's definitely for me because I am constantly traveling, and this is a way that I can test a ton of product across multiple devices. Not only that, but also as a publisher, I can consider things like, hey, how is this going to play on a mobile device versus on a desktop PC or whatever. And so I think that altogether, there's a lot of products out there that I will be testing thoroughly on these devices.
Oh no, another excuse to have to test out new games?
Exactly.
Aw, shucks. All right, Jason, to you. One sentence. What's the vibe of this new AMD mobile era?
Really, I think the vibe is convergence and a great experience across every form factor. Desktop, notebook, handheld, consistent gaming. As you migrate across each of those platforms, you get a great experience, you get a consistent experience, and we want to make that true both now and in our roadmap going forward.
Thank you. And Volker, for the gamer torn between a new laptop or gaming handheld, what words of wisdom would you give them?
Well, I mean, both systems actually serve in different situations. So a gaming laptop, a Legion gaming laptop is definitely a unit where you game on, but where you do many, many other things on as well. Is it streaming, editing? So it's serving you in many, many situations during your day and for different purposes. And a Legion Go is, of course, the perfect companion when you want to game away from your desk. Is it on the couch? Is it on when you commute? Is it in bed? Is it really when you between classes? So for us, it's actually really a very complementary lineup or very complementary products, again, for different situations. And yeah, it's just great to see this happening, this continuous or this very smooth transition between devices and this seamless gameplay between devices.
I would say ask Santa for one of them and then get the other for your birthday. But thank you all each for your input. It's very clear from today's conversation that there isn't one kind of gamer and there isn't one kind of device that fits everyone. What Lenovo and AMD are focused on with Legion is giving players real choice without forcing trade-offs. Now, whether you're building your next app on a Legion 7A, writing a thesis on a Legion 5A, or grinding ranked on a Legion Go, there's a Legion device powered by AMD that's designed around how you actually play. So huge thanks to all of our guest speakers here, Volker, Jason, and David, for keeping it candid with us. My name is Avali. Go check out all of the demo stations and, of course, touch some grass or at least some new tech. Thank you all so much for joining us.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you.